Hey, I'm back with another one of these, whatever you want to call this series. I haven't quite come up with a name, or even if I want to name them at all. The only thing that's going to be different with these videos is I'm going to be talking to you, the viewer on YouTube. I'm not going to be speaking to chat. We're not taking any kind of cut from a live stream. I'm just recording this offline for your viewing pleasure. So, with that being said, the most recent deck that I've been tinkering with, looking at, is Drednaw. So Drednaw is a Pokemon that I haven't looked at in quite a while. I will bring up the Pokemon for you to have a look at with me. What does it do? Well, the really interesting part of Drednaw is it's got this ability called Impervious Shell. It says, prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's Pokemon if that damage is 200 or more. So it's a very interesting circumstantial ability. Conditional is the word that I was looking for. It's very conditional with the way that it prevents damage. So if your opponent is just, going for it with a Pokemon like Dragapult, for example, Impervious Shell stops the damage incoming. Okay, they have to do something to bring it below that 200 damage threshold, and some Pokemon can't necessarily do that. They don't have the means readily available to them to do that. So it becomes an interesting idea to make your opponent dance to the beat of the Impervious Shell ability, and then Hard Crunch gives us some damage output. So originally, the reason why I was looking at this Pokemon is because I was having a think about Pokemon that could make use of Ignition Energy, and of course, Drednaw has an attack which costs 3 colors. It's not that great of a user of an attack, of an energy like Ignition Energy. Hard Crunch isn't really like the biggest payoff to be able to make use of Ignition Energy with. Okay, you would probably much rather use Reversal Energy if you were going to use a triple energy of some kind to facilitate the attack. With that being said, though, I decided that I wanted to try combining it with Eelektrik. Now, Eelektrik, releasing in the Black Bolt side of Black Bolt and White Flare, has the ability Dynamotor. Once during your turn, attach a basic lightning energy from your discard pile to one of your bench Pokemon. It doesn't specify that the Pokemon it's attaching to has to be lightning itself. You could attach it to any Pokemon you like. It just has to be a basic lightning energy. And as you'll remember, Hard Crunch is 3 colorless energy, which we can facilitate with the lightning energy. Okay, so with these two together, I'm looking to accelerate to Drednaw over and over. The reality is our opponents will be able to deal with Drednaw as, by way of using Pokemon that can get past that ability, right? But the hope is that they have to get past it so many times that we can wear them down and beat them by way of, Hard Crunch and just being very annoying with that ability. Now, I'm using Revavroom as the draw engine. You discard an energy to use the ability, and you can draw until you have 6 cards in hand. It's a little bit different to Kilowattrel, which is, and specifically Iono's Kilowattrel, which has Flashing Draw, very similar ability, and we're using Lightning Energy, so you might wonder, why not use Kilowattrel? Well, part of it is Revavroom just has more HP. The energy doesn't have to be attached to the Pokemon, and I'm playing 4 Mist Energy as a way of trying to deal with Pokemon such as Dragapult EX and its damage spread. Okay, so a very lean line of Pokemon in a deck that is all stage 1s, none of which being EXs, so very, very interesting. And then a litany of trainer cards to make it all work. I'm favoring Precious Trolley here because Chewtle unfortunately has 80 HP. You can't get it off the Buddy Poffin. So I'm electing to use Precious Trolley here, but I could see several other ace specs taking that spot as well. I'm trying Calamitous Snowy Mountain. I'm not too sure about this stadium in this slot, but I thought that it would be really nice in some cases to be able to force damage counters to be in play before I start attacking with the Drednaw. Drednaw's Hard Crunch does 80 more if the active Pokemon already has damage counters on it. So whilst you can go 80 and then 160, it would be nice to do 160 and then 160 into a lot of things. So I'm trying cards like Iris's Fighting Spirit, makes sense in a deck that wants to see Lightning Energies in the discard pile. Ultra Ball, great in a deck that, again, wants ways to discard Lightning Energies, also wants ways to empty the hand so that you can draw up with Revavroom. Very light on the Gusting, 1 Boss's Orders and 1 Counter Catcher. Unfortunately, the deck needs a lot to sort of hold it together, and I need the space. So we cut into the Gusting to make it work. 3 Stretcher and a Sacred Ash is my recovery in this deck. Sacred Ash makes sense in a deck that wants to make your opponent go through 6 Pokemon in order to win, right? So lots of evolution pieces to get back with the Sacred Ash. Doesn't really make sense to play Super Rod in its slot because you want the Lightning Energy in the discard pile anyway. Levincia here ends up being like a draw with Revavroom card and can give you energy in hand in a pinch when you might need to power up a Drednaw. Earthen Vessel makes sense to get the Lightning Energies out of the deck. 1 TM Evolution, you would love to, but kind of hard to make the space for it, so we stick to the 1 and we just hope that it works out for us. A healthy count on the Lightning and the Mist Energy. You could maybe cut 1 Mist Energy to try and make space in the deck, like maybe we cut 1 Mist Energy and we try something like Luxurious Cape. You could put Luxurious Cape in here to make for some awkward damage math for your opponent to go through, right? If you put the Drednaw's HP up above 200, then they are always having to hit KO this Drednaw. So 1 Luxurious Cape could be interesting in that slot, for example. I might try that because I was thinking just before I started recording this video, I kind of wanted to play something like Rigid Band. Okay, so stage 1 Pokemon this is attached to takes 30 less damage from attacks, right? So it makes for an even more awkward number for opponents to have to look for. The usefulness of this tool would be limited to certain matchups like Raging Bolt Ogerpon, for example. So Raging Bolt is able to get around the Impervious Shell ability quite easily because they can just discard 2 energies and do exactly 140. But the minute that you force them to have to discard more than 2, they're doing up above 200 and the 200 damage for Impervious Shell, right? So, but with that being said, now that I think about it, Rigid Band wouldn't stop Raging Bolt from discarding 3 to knock out the Drednaw. So maybe it's good to try the Luxurious Cape in that slot. So with all of that being said, I'm going to give this a try. I had tried a different list with Drednaw as well. I had Tatsugiri and I had Rabska in the deck instead of Revavroom and instead of the Mist Energies. And I found that it was a little bit clumsy, like a little bit weak. It's already quite weak, and then that is even more fragile to set up. So I've gone with this trio of stage 1s. We're going to give it a try, and we'll see what happens. I'm gonna play it in ranked because I'm more likely to hit the types of decks that we want to see whilst playing this. There's certain matchups that are a little bit unfortunate for us to have to deal with. I think Gardevoir is pretty strong into what we're doing, but we will see. Let's go Tails here, and we'll just run a game or 2, see if the deck works out, and you can decide for yourself if it's a good combo, or maybe there's a different idea out there to make it work. Maybe you play Baxcalibur and use Water Energies, or Emboar and use Fire Energies, or you use Triple Acceleration and Reversal Energy, and you combine it with some other Pokemon that might make sense. I'm going to say no to going first because we do play the Arven Trolley TM Evolution, okay? And evolving Pokemon is pretty important in this deck, as you might imagine. I'm going to put Chewtle. Yeah, I'm going to put Chewtle in the active, I think. And then we're going to put a Chewtle on the bench. We don't want to get donked. We can hide the Tynamo for now, and they can try and figure out what we're up to. This matchup is a little bit unfortunate for us. We're not very well equipped to deal with the Diplin, but we will try our best and see how we go. We're going to go a Tynamo on the bench. I'm going to go Arven, and we're going to go Trolley, and we're going to go Team Evolution. Now, the issue is that, so one issue is that we have no draw, but of course we're going to get our Revavroom into play, and that is a good thing. So we'll do this, we'll double check. Yep, we've got Revavroom to work with. We want 2 Tynamo, and I guess I'll fill out the bench with another Chewtle. I don't have a lot of faith in this matchup working well for us, but we are going to try. We will try. I'm going to go Evolution. We're going to evolve this, and we'll evolve... I feel like it should be Eels. I feel like it should be Eels, because we have, like, reasonable odds of drawing into the Drednaw. So we'll play it like this. I have a Night Stretcher in hand. I have a Levincia in hand. So that means that we should be able to retrieve this lightning energy off the Chewtle if it gets knocked out, and then we'll just play the board from there. My opponent is playing the Festival Lead Diplin deck. They're leading with the Seeking, which is a Pokemon that can draw cards. Okay, with the Rapid Draw, and of course it has Festival Lead, so it can attack twice if you have Festival Grounds in play. So it's quite likely that you've seen this deck in your travels as a player, but maybe you haven't. The gimmick, if you like, of the Festival Lead deck is these Pokemon have this ability that says if Festival Grounds is in play, this Pokemon may use an attack it has twice. If the first attack knocks out your opponent's active Pokemon, you may attack again after your opponent chooses a new active Pokemon. Good news is that I don't think that Diplin will be able to one-shot Drednaw. But the bad news is that I would say they have an easier time setting up their Pokemon compared to us. So that is a tricky position to have to play through, but we will persevere. We will persevere. I don't think I had a better choice than this Tynamo to promote. It has free retreat, so that is very helpful. We'll start by evolving the Drednaw. And I want to obviously draw with the Revavroom, but I need to be wary. We need to try and figure out what we're going to do here. Buddy Poffin, and I think we'll do nothing with it for the moment. I want a Lightning onto the Drednaw, because we're going to use a Night Stretcher to get the Lightning energy. Night Stretcher for the Lightning, and I think I need to use the other one for the other Chewtle. And it's more about getting cards out of my hand so that I can use Rumbling Engine. Now, I don't think I want to use Boss's Orders. I really need to find like a supporter that will draw me cards. So let's use Rumbling Engine, and we'll see how we go. We found Iris's Fighting Spirit, which is quite good, and we found an Eelektrik, but I cannot easily put it down. We will do it like this. I will use Fighting Spirit, and we will just draw 3 cards. Discard the Poffin. We got a Lightning, we got an Ultra Ball. It's not quite what I was looking for, is it? So let's do Dynamotor to here. Yeah, it's too bad. It's too bad. Like, I can't Eelektrik, use Dynamotor, and then also draw. So I have to have a bit of a think, but I think I just promote Chewtle and pass, which is a bit unfortunate. a little bit unfortunate. It's going to be very, very difficult to be able to play through this deficit, but we will try our best. End turn, see what our opponent has in store. They can definitely get a KO, but it ends up being a question of whether they can get a KO using the Dipplin or not. Because if they can use the Dipplin, then you know we're in a little bit of strife. Bug catching set. Looks at the top of their deck, grabs a couple of grass Pokemon or grass energy and puts them into hand. So they're developing their side of the board quite nicely. They do need to look for the stadium, but Boom Boom Groove Thwacky can guarantee it. So we'll see what they go with here. I don't think we've seen a supporter yet. No, just a whole bunch of items so far. Thwacky will give them what they want in order to progress the turn. What's it going to be? If it's the stadium and they don't have a grass energy in hand, then we might be in luck. So they only got Pokemon off the 2 bug catching sets. So maybe this works out for us. And thankfully, mercifully, they only have the 1 Thwacky. So we'll see. Iono, okay. Okay. See if they hit an energy or not. If they did, it's a little unlucky for us. We want to hold our stadiums too to replace their festival grounds. It's too bad that we don't run a full 4 on the stadium side of things, but you know, you have to make concessions somewhere, and you're not normally going to have to battle against that many stadiums. This is the exception for sure. Do the Wave will comfortably KO the Dipplin, which is a bit tough. It's not great. Oh, sorry, the Chewtle. And I think we go Drednaw here and we tank a hit into the Dipplin. Alright, they attack. It does go around the Impervious shell, unfortunately, but that's alright. It's alright. I'm going to have to make a play somewhere where I tank a hit with the Revavroom. It's not quite here yet. We're not quite there yet, but we're getting there. Just going to do this. Playing cards out of the hand. We have to be careful that Calamitous Snowy Mountain doesn't betray us. But that's fine. That's fine. Let's use Rumbling Engine. Draw some cards while we've got the opportunity. Okay. We can use Earthen Vessel to get some energies into the discard pile. 1, 2. What Pokemon are in here? Just the Chewtle, so we don't need to Ash yet. I don't necessarily want to Iono either. It'll give them quite a few cards to work with. We want them to have to work with what they've got. Let's do this. And then we'll hit them with the Hard Crunch. Now, one of the redeeming factors is that our attack, even on an undamaged Dipplin, will get the KO. So we're hitting back. We've taken our first prize of the game, but you can see that, like, okay, like Dipplin is one of these single prize decks that heavily preys on other single prize decks just by the way that it works. It's definitely amongst the more powerful single prize ideas that are out there. Where Dipplin might have some trouble is if you're playing a single prize deck that can withstand Do the Wave. And when I say withstand, I mean a single prize Pokemon that doesn't get one shot by one Do the Wave attack. If they have to use both their attacks to knock it out, then it's not so good. It's not so good for them. I kind of want to play a little bit risky and promote the Revavroom to tank the Do the Wave. But it means that I need to hit one of my Air Balloon off, Draw and Iono. Boom Boom Groove is almost certainly going to find them the Festival Grounds, which is fine. It's a bit of a tough matchup. we're kind of on the back foot in this matchup. I went into ranked expecting to hit something a bit more closer to tier 1, but with how much I've tanked my rating by playing decks like Drednaw and other silly decks, I haven't quite been able to punch my way back up to 1500. And you might expect to see people trying out decks that are a little bit more like what you're seeing on the screen. So they swing there, and then I'm going to promote the Revavroom and tank the next Do the Wave. So this should only do 70 damage. Nice. Okay, so Sacred Ash, we've got Boss's Orders. I don't think I'm going to Sacred Ash yet. I don't think I'm going to do it. I'm going to manual attach now, and then we're going to play Calamitous Mountain. And then I'm thinking I kind of want Revavroom, but I don't know. Might just Iono. Yeah. So we're looking for Balloon. We found a cape, which is interesting. You know, we can put Drednaw on an amount of HP where they can't get the KO, right? With Do the Wave. But then the minute that Drednaw gets hit with the cape attached, they get to take 2 prizes. So I have to have a bit of a think. I'm probably just going to do it. I might put it over here, actually. We'll do it on this one. And I kind of want to use up the counter catcher in order to try and draw the air balloon. I might do this. I'm going to do this because they also may not be able to retreat this very easily too. And then we'll use Rumbling Engine, discard the Mist Energy. There's the balloon. So, what does that mean? What do we do with this hand now? First of all, we can use Dynamotor, accelerate to the Drednaw. Going to attach the air balloon. I'm going to use Ultra Ball. I'll discard Rev and a Research. So we got a couple of options in the hand, right? I'm going to take Eelektrik, because now I've got a good pivot. So one of the fundamentals of playing this deck is having a Pokemon with essentially free retreat in order to be able to use Electric's Dynamotor every turn comfortably. So we'll do this, and then we'll swing Hard Crunch. It's not going to get the KO, which is a little bit unfortunate, but hopefully my opponent doesn't have an easy way to switch out. If they've got Air Balloon, well, that's a bit unfortunate for us, but we had to do something to try and stop their progress on board. And it looks like we received our wish. Now, do I want to... Well, I know that I lack any sort of switching in the deck, so... That being said, maybe just Brock Scouting for the Drednaw could be good. I could just research here too and give myself more cards in hand to work with. That might be fine. Okay, so we've got a Drednaw. We'll go Dynamotor to here. Dynamotor again. Ooh, we're lacking. Interesting. I don't want to manually attach to the Drednaw because the Calamitous Mountain damage is going to reduce our effective HP total. I don't really want to do that. We might just Rumbling Engine for 1 card. And then we'll use Dynamotor. Got Boss's Orders off the top too. We've got very few cards left, so we have to be wary. We have to be careful. We'll go Hard Crunch here. You know, I should be setting up the other Revavroom, so I've got another Pokemon to tank or do the wave. That would be a good idea. But here, at least, they're going to have to do the wave twice in order to knock out Drednaw. I don't think... I guess if they have Kieran, that works. Maybe? Kieran. No, Kieran's not enough either. They would need Vitality Band and Kieran in order to get through the Drednaw's HP. Which they could very well pull off. Not to mention they needed the Festival Grounds as well. But now they've only got 2 Grookey to work with. It is enough if they've got those 2 cards. Kieran, Vitality Band. If they've got them, then this Drednaw is going down. But we'll see. We'll see. Selection number 1. They're having a think, having a look. We're sort of set up for the rest of the game, but I really would like something that resists the Dipplin. I wonder if Varoom is enough to stop them as well. Revavroom, if they don't have a full bench, would be quite good. But we'll see. Let's see if they've got the knockout on Drednaw or not. I actually would really like another Chewtle to set up here too. Because we would like for this to be the anchor. We don't really want to attack with Drednaw if we can help it. If it was like at the very end, we'd be pretty happy. Because it's going to tank a turn of Do the Wave. Alright, they're using Boss's Orders. They're going to go into the Eel. Fine. Do the Wave, does 100. Okay. That means we're going to promote Drednaw. Double attack. Okay. And then it's over to us. Let's see what we got. Sacred Ash off the top. Not bad. Do we want it? We got Boss's Orders. Does Boss's Orders do anything for us? We've used up all our stadiums too, right? Yeah. So we can't get rid of Festival Grounds. Unfortunate. That's their 4th one. If we were able to remove it, it would be so good. But I just don't have it. Where's Megaton Blower when you need it? Where's that card? Alright, so we're going to go Night Stretcher. And I think I will grab a Chewtle. I think I want Chewtle down for sure. I'll go Mist Energy. I'm gonna go... Kind of... I need to have a think. Maybe Sacred Ash. I'll take you, you, and you. Probably don't need the rest. And then I might Rumbling Engine here. So what we draw into a Drednaw. Ultra Ball. I'm going to get rid of you and you. And we'll grab a Tynamo just for fun. Okay. Just in case. Now, at the very end of all of this, is Boss's Orders good? Probably doesn't matter, because like, if they're going to win, Thwacky probably gets it done for them. They probably only need 1 Thwacky for it to be good, is what I mean. Do this. And then we'll go Hard Crunch. We're doing our best to try and keep up, but... they are inching ever so closer to being able to take this game. So we'll see. In comes Dipplin. Even though we've got a 2-prize Pokemon on the bench, they don't really have the capacity to one-shot it, I don't think. They would need Gusting plus Kieran plus Vitality Band. Or actually, Gusting So they would need something like Prime Catcher and Kieran to knock out our big Drednaw here. So we will see. We'll see if they've got it or not. And I think what I'm going to try and do here is we're going to try and tank a hit with the Drednaw. Then we're going to try and attack with the other one that we're developing on the board. Because that might buy us one extra turn, maybe. Not sure. But we're trying to do everything that we can to just buy extra turns here and there, make it so the attack doesn't guarantee them a way to win, if we can help it, or however much we can help it. Kieran. Okay. That is fine. We actually don't care about them playing Kieran there. And Defiance Band is not going to matter because we're the ones playing from behind and not them. So bug catching set, grabbing some more energies. They're pretty much guaranteed to have everything that they want. However, this is their last Dipplin. That was their last Dipplin. So they could be in trouble here. Do the wave is not enough to KO the Drednaw. But I think I'm going to manually retreat this Drednaw and use this one. Well, maybe. Maybe not, actually. Both of them tank the same amount of attacks, really, when you think about it. So maybe this is fine. Like, it's got 100 damage on it. We've got the cape. They've only got one prize to take anyway. This might be okay. That might be fine. I'm going to manually attach here. And we're going to do something that might be a little bit weird, but we're going to attach an energy using Dynamotor to Eelektrik itself so that if they try and get fancy and try and stall on us, they don't have that available to them. I am realizing, okay, no, Rapid Draw doesn't do enough damage to knock us out. They would need some kind of damage augmentation to get there. So we're just going to go Hard Crunch here. That's 80. And if they manually attach to the Seeking, then that puts damage counters on it. So we might be able to find a way through this game after all. But we'll see. We're kind of running out of attackers. Eelektrik can possibly get a KO on Seeking if we have to. Actually, you know what? It doesn't matter because the game is over if they get another prize anyway, so I don't really need to think about getting extra attackers. Now it's going to be on them to try and bust through this Drednaw. They used up their Kieran before. If they don't have another Kieran, then we're chilling. They could very well have one, though. You know, it would not surprise me if they went like Palpad, Kieran, Festival Lead, and we're cooked. But at least we gave it a good try. Let's see what they've got. If they start trying to just develop another Applin, then we can hunt it down with Boss's Orders. This Rellor might have been a poor choice of Pokemon to put down. Drum beating Rillaboom is not great for us. Was not really counting on that Pokemon hitting the board. Does it do too much damage? No. So drum beating 60, we survive that. That's fine. Woodhammer. Okay, Kieran. Okay. We're gonna go drum beating, are we? We're gonna go drum beating. Okay. We weren't able. Oh, right. I've been talking like I have Calamitous Snowy Mountain in play, and I don't. So that's a little unfortunate for us. Hard Crunch is off the table. I think I lose. That sucks. Because they can just Woodhammer. No. Wait. Maybe they're in trouble if I do this. Maybe this works. Yeah, we'll chill. Possibly could have used Buddy Poffin to have a look at what's remaining in the deck. We have very few cards to work with, as you can see. Just 3. Just 3. It's turning out to be probably a much closer game than they were anticipating. But our problem now is that we don't really... Like, this energy, if it comes down onto Rillaboom, we're kind of trapped. We're kind of trapped. Applin. I also have no way to stop Applin now, too. And Iono is okay, but you can see that we're kind of losing as far as draw goes. We can survive, though. Let's, we can survive. 80 HP. We'll hard crunch. I think we're cooked. Maybe I should put Varoom down. As like a... No, it just doesn't matter at this point, because all they have to do is knock out our active Pokemon. Yeah, it's kind of like GG, right? I can't really do anything about what's going to happen. So, we'll go down swinging. I'm going to hit them with a hard crunch. I've sort of run out of resources, unfortunately, to try and keep up. Hit them with the hard crunch. And I would say that if they have 1 grass energy in deck, we are cooked. Because of Seeking. Maybe I should have retreated. Actually, no. 1 energy means that Woodhammer gets the KO no matter what. So if they have it in hand, that is GG. They did not promote a festival lead Pokemon. Okay. I think I am out of grass energy. I simply do not have any further means to extend this game. Yep, it's just a couple of research. So, unfortunately, we were beaten by drum beating. I could have played on the previous turn. If I'd thought about it a little bit more, I could have possibly manually retreated our Drednaw, but also used Eelektrik to put an extra energy on the Drednaw to play around drum beating, stopping us from being able to attack. But I didn't quite think about it. So it's a very unusual game state for sure, and I would hazard a guess to say not the kind of matchup that you've seen very often. So yeah, unfortunately we're stuck. We cannot do anything. My opponent is going to get the win, but we'll let them click the attack and claim victory for themselves. Defeated by a Rillaboom. Not really what I expected when I hit record in OBS, but here we are. Come on, hit the attack. You got it. Come on. Come on. Can they not use the attack repeatedly? Oh, I wouldn't have been able to retreat anyway, now that I think about it. No, I would have. Yeah, so the way I could have played around this game state... Okay, my opponent is trolling, question mark? The way I could have played around this on the previous turn by using Dynamotor once onto the Drednaw and then using... retreating the active Drednaw, promoting the one with 4 energy... What? Hello? There, I could have manually retreated too. I don't know why I didn't, but like I was fully expecting my opponent to click attack and then we lose. But saved by the bell? I don't know. Did my opponent DC? It's never over till it's over, huh? Did they go through a tunnel? Maybe they were playing on the train. Maybe they're on public transport and they had to close their phone. Maybe they're hopping off or on the bus or something like that. And that's what happens when a game goes for as long as this one, right? It's actually been like, we've collectively used half an hour. So I'll show. Wow, we went right to the bitter end. They definitely had game on board. All they needed to do was click drum beating, and we were done. So very close game. In the final turns, I could have played it a bit more wisely by retreating my active when I had the chance to a Drednaw that had 4 energy, and then perhaps if my opponent doesn't have gusting, maybe we get through that position. But then we still lose if they have a grass energy to work with too, so don't know. Interesting though, we were able to overcome that one. We're going to play one more game. I'm looking at the recording. I've been talking for about 40 minutes. We can play one more. And we'll see if Drednaw is able to claim another victory from the jaws of defeat somehow, or if this is going to be a more realistic experience with the deck. You'll notice I'm not cherry-picking the games for these videos. I'm just hitting play and then going, because okay, so I think generally speaking, when you watch deck profiles of Pokemon decks, they typically follow a particular formula, right? The first part is, what's up YouTube, Vice Games here, I'm going to be playing this deck, here are the cards in it, this is what it does, these are the cards to think about it, here's some sample gameplay, I'll see you in the next live stream or video, right? And then it's followed by a game played with the deck where it adequately demonstrates what the deck is supposed to do. However, it can be easy to be like quite picky about the quality of the game that you put on display. Like, and I get that. The reason why you want to be a little bit picky about it is because I have to think for a minute. Okay, it's a little bit easier. So we'll do, and of course we can't get Chewtle down with Poffin. Let's have a look. Trolley, we've got Team Evolution. So we've got good stuff to work with. We've got all of our evolution pieces as needed. Oh, we can use the Ultra Ball here too. But what to discard? That's tough. Ultra Ball. I'll go with K. And we'll grab a Chewtle. So that's good. The Ultra Ball doing a little bit of work there for us. And we'll go... I don't know if I want to put down Calamitous yet. I might wait a turn. And then we'll put it down. We'll see what happens. Okay, so to finish my thought before, the reason why you want to cherry pick the games for the deck profile is because you really want the video to be a good demonstration of what the deck is supposed to do. It's a bit pointless if I make up a deck and say, here's my cool Pokemon deck that I made, and here's some sample gameplay. And let's say the sample gameplay is me just losing in 3 turns and I don't get to set anything up. That's not really a satisfying video for anybody to watch, and you don't get to see the theory of what the deck is supposed to do. So, the idea is you play some games until you get one that is pretty adequate when it comes to showing off what the deck is supposed to do. Win or lose, right? What I want to do is kind of just like rip these games off bat and just not really try to be too specific about what I'm doing. Now, what am I doing? I'm going to use this Tynamo and evolve these. So we're going to use Arven. And I'll finish that thought in a moment. But I do need to play through here. I think it's going to be Trolley. I'm going to put Trolley in hands, because we'll use it later. We'll use it later. We'll do this, we'll do this, we'll do this. And then we're going to go Calamitous. I would really like to counter their stadium, but It's fine. Do it like this. Rumbling Engine to hand. Electric to hand. Chance of a top deck Lightning Energy, and we'll use that to draw with Rumbling Engine and favor the Mist Energy for something like our Drednaw. But we'll see. We'll see. So, to finish the thought, what I want to do with these videos is just try and play them without any sort of cut or cherry picking or anything. Of course, when I say cut, I mean cutting, into the future where I finally play a good game with whatever deck that I'm playing. I kind of just want to have the organic experience of putting a deck together and playing through games for better or worse. Okay, and I think that if the videos can be interesting enough that is, fun or entertaining or whatever, I think I've achieved kind of what I want. Now, what is going on here? Top deck. Okay, we're going to do this. I would really like to attach the Mist Energy to something, but never mind. Never mind. I'm not going to go the whole hog here because I really want to put Tynamo back into play, but it's fine. And then we're going to have to discard the Mist Energy, which is not what I wanted to do against Dragapult. But we did achieve something good here. Alright, so Dynamotor to here. Going to... I really want to get back Tynamo. I'm going to put Mist Energy here. It's going to take damage because... Oh, no, we're not a basic Pokemon. Not a basic Pokemon. Very good. Now what? I need to, put something else active. And I cannot put Tynamo down because of Phantom Dive. So that's a thing. So we're just going to have to chill. I really want to put Tynamo down, but I can't put it down without Mist Energy. So, I'm going to retreat. We'll promote a Chewtle. Good luck. Good luck, Dragapult. So, we'll see how this series goes. Maybe the decision around whether I pick games in particular to want to showcase the deck or not probably depends a bit more on how good the deck is competitively. If it is more weighted towards fun and casual, then I might have to make some concessions. Maybe here and there we skip out on just going with the organic, hit play and see what happens. But with better decks, then we might want to just do it that way. And maybe it's not worth thinking about so much, but here we are. Okay, so we're in decent shape. We're going to go Dynamotor to here. A regular Lightning Energy attached. We're going to go... I still really want the Tynamo, but I can't. So we're going to go Rumbling Engine. I'm realizing now that the Calamitous Snowy Mountain is not good. Or it's not great. I'm sort of understanding that a little bit better as I play. What makes me realize that is it is limited to only putting the damage on basic Pokemon. And so if they simply evolve, they get around the negative impact of this, right? Now that Dracloak is a Dracloak, they can attach energy, no problem. So that means that I need to change Calamitous Snowy Mountain to something else, I would say. The mountain is going to do some damage to the Monkey Dory, but they're probably happy enough for that to occur more than anything. I'm going to play some damage across onto the electric. It is still safe for a moment. Jet Headbutt for 70 because they are unable to get through the Impervious shell. Very good. We are going to have to do something a little bit tricky here. So I'm going to do this. Just the one energy in the discard pile is very annoying. I should use Levincia first, my bad. Well, boss's orders. We have to do it like this. I have to get rid of the Monkey Dory because I don't want them to have an easy way to get rid of the electric. It's not like super essential, but it is important. It's funny how in this matchup, because of Impervious Shell, they have to choose between either using Jet Headbutt on the active or using Phantom Dive to spread 60 to the bench. It's interesting. Okay, so they're starting to develop their board. Duskull and its evolutions, Dusclops and Dusknoir, puts a bit of a damper on what we're trying to do. It's in the name, Impervious Shell. We don't want them to be able to do damage to us very easily, but Dusknoir gets to accelerate the pace of the game. That's fine. Hold steady. We will be okay. Still won't be able to put down the second Tynamo, but because of what they can do with Phantom Dive, but we will try our best here. We're going to start with Artisan, make use of this stadium before I go looking for anything else. Another Chewtle is probably timely. Kind of want the Sacred Ash soon as well. We've got 4 Pokemon in the discard pile, so that's quite a few now. Quite a few. Could Night Stretcher for an energy. I could Arven. Oh, Levincia will give us energy to work with too, so that's okay. We benched a Chewtle, so let's think about that. We benched Chewtle. Night Stretcher. I'll grab another Chewtle. It's probably a good thing to get multiples because of what's to come with these two. I kind of want to research, but also don't really need to. Let's use Arven. What am I really doing if I use research? Use Sacred Ash. 1, 2, 3. Sure. I'm gonna grab Tynamo and put it in hands. But we're not going to bench it yet. Levincia, grab some lightning energy. Put them in hands. Dynamo to our Drednaw, like this. Attach an energy like this. And we can draw with Rumbling Engine. Where's our Mist Energy at? Okay, retreat. Drednaw. Swing with Hard Crunch. I am worried though that they might just win on this turn. If they've got Dusknoir and a Dark Energy, I think that they put this away. It ends up being a shorter and unfortunately more realistic and representative of the strength of this deck. We've got some things going for us which might help us in theory. In practice, being able to contend with the likes of Dusknoir and Monkey Dory is very difficult, but we'll try our best. Let's see if we can hold strong here. If they have a Dark Energy, it's a little bit unfortunate. Cursed Blast, what are we going for? The main thing is giving ourselves 2 Chewtle. Helps. The problem is that if they get rid of our Drednaw, which they look like they're going to be able to, I don't think that I can respond with an attack. Because I now just don't have enough. That's alright. We'll persevere, we'll try our best. So we take a prize, they don't take anything. They're going to retreat. They're going to use Budgie just to be extra annoying. Fair enough. No Iono in hand to work with, a little bit unfortunate. We promote the Revavroom because it gives us the pivot that we need. Drednaw off the top. I think now might be time for the Mist Energy. I'm going to have a look in the deck with Arthas on and see what we've got to work with. There is a Mist Energy. So we might take a chance here. We're going to go Tynamo. Yeah. And we're going to try and hit that one lightning. Oh, sorry, that one mist. Did not hit the Mist Energy. That is unfortunate. If I didn't put down the Tynamo, I could have attacked with Electric Ball. So we do this. We'll Dynamo them. Ooh. Ooh. Wait, I already manually attached. I didn't think about using Rumbling Engine. Dang. I'm gonna try it. Let's see if we would have got it or not. No, so that's fine. Hit end turn, and this might be curtains. If they go to Dusclops and an energy, that'd do it. Helps that we didn't take a KO last turn. If they allow us to develop our board a little bit, then it might be alright. But they've got the Dusclops. That'll let them take one KO, but do you have a way to get the second? One singular energy would do it. If they attach an energy, then they could use Phantom Dive to knock out the Tynamo. GG. I'll grab the Dark Energy. That is not the way that I would have done it. It's not the way I would have done it. Interesting. Oh, no, yeah. You can just Dusclops and knock out the Tynamo. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, well, that is probably a bit more representative of what to expect in this matchup. It might look a little bit better once we get Psyduck and Golduck. Once we get our hands on those cards, then Dusknoir will drop off in playability, and you can just run one just in case you come into the matchup. Whether that's actually enough to swing the matchup or not is another question. I don't think so. But you can see that there is an idea here, okay? So something that I try to explain to people who perhaps are a little bit newer to the game and don't really know how to build decks and think, what, you know, how do you even explain to somebody how to build their own Pokemon deck? Because it is a little bit abstract, to say the least. Like, you can learn over time, but it's a bit difficult to give somebody a starting line to figure out where to go. You can give them rules of thumb, you can give them guidelines, but I think there's two things that I like to tell people. One is that you should pick a Pokemon and make it your main focus. So it's not like Ash traveling the land and building a team of 6 when it comes to Pokemon cards. You kind of just have to pick one Pokemon and then pick Pokemon that go with it. And so in the case of our deck, we're only attacking with Drednaw, and we've got a couple of Pokemon that help it do help it achieve what it wants to achieve. So if you have a look at Drednaw, it's got an ability that helps protect it. It's got an attack that lets it do the damage it needs to do. But the thing that it needs is it's got no built-in consistency, so it needs draw power or setup, and it needs a way to get those energy into play because it's got no way to get the energy to itself. And you can see that the Pokemon that I chose to run alongside the Drednaw Eelektrik solves the energy problem, and Revavroom solves the draw power problem. Okay, so from those two games, maybe you can tell that it's perhaps more strictly on the for fun side of things, but nonetheless, I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll do this again very soon, I'm sure. I'm sure that doing deck profiles in the way that I'm doing it today, and the way that I've done it with the Grimmsnarl video just before it, is probably a bit more suited for YouTube. And I think doing that Grimmsnarl video made me realize that speaking this way and presenting a video this way is probably the better way to go when it comes to Pokemon. It's not really a game where you can do stream highlights and reels and stuff like that. It doesn't really make sense. The narrative is not cohesive enough without understanding what all the cards do, and if you're not getting the full picture because I'm trying to, like, I don't know, cut together a highlight reel or make the video about me talking about fun things or whatever, then the video can be a little bit disjointed. So it's interesting to have recorded this video just now, for example, and despite the deck being not the greatest, I feel like I was able to speak continuously for just over an hour now. So maybe this is the way to go. Anyhow, we'll see how this turns out. Let me know what deck you would like me to do this with next time. I think I'm going to choose a deck that is a little bit more sensible or a little bit more competitive, right? Maybe we'll give it a whirl with Ethan's Typhlosion. Or maybe I'll pick a tier 1 deck that I haven't really covered on the channel before. Dragapult, for example. Or we could try something a little offbeat. Okay, we could take something popular like Dragapult and combine it with something we haven't seen too much of, like Rocket's Crobat, for example. So we'll see. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you in the next live stream or video. Take care and goodbye. Cheers.